Hi, babe. Welcome to the Horror Babe Show. I'm your host, Chelsea Beller. Here we go again. It's FilmQuest Filmmaker Friday. Today's earnest and delightful interview is about the Beldham. Written and directed by Angela Gulner, who I had the honor of sitting down with at FilmQuest. Angela and I leave it all on the table. We talk about the horror movies that inspired this piece, birds and crows and witches, working with stars like Patricia Heaton, Katie Parker, and Emma Fitzpatrick. We also get a little personal. And we definitely don't cry. Let's tune in to my conversation with Angela. Hi, babe. Welcome to the Horror Babe Show. I'm here at FilmQuest with Angela Gulner, who wrote and directed The Beldham. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
It is truly an honor to meet you and talk to you. I'm now your number one fan. Yes. Congrats on, what is the world premiere at Sitges?
Yes, yeah.
That's incredible.
It was cool.
Yeah, you have 5 nominations here at the Fest?
Yeah, we're excited.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up which nominations they were for.
I think this feels very self-involved to say, let me tell you. Feature, director, screenplay, lead actress, Katie Parker, supporting actress, Patricia Heaton.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, I loved them in this.
So good.
Oh my God. I feel like most of the world knows Patricia Heaton from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so interesting and kind of funny to see her in this role. She plays almost sinister in a way. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, it was really fun. She is just the warmest, she's like just effervescent, and so seeing her kind of like click into this like sinister mode was really fun. And she loves horror films, but her career has been in comedy, and she's amazing in comedy, but she was really excited to do a horror film, and so like whenever we do like the creepier scene, she'd be like, yes, okay.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
And Katie Parker is absolutely in her element there.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I loved that this was a feminine take on a monster movie. So often we have men fighting male monsters, and this was really women fighting women in a way. What inspired you to write this story?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to talk about without giving away the ending.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I will say it was inspired by, so my producing partner is also my husband.
Oh.
And he's an amazingly incredible, like, producer, but also a really great creative producer and storyteller in his own right. Yeah. So he was a big part of shaping the story and building the story, but we were getting married at the same time. Some generational shifts were happening in my family. And so, I'm 37, my parents are getting older, their parents are getting older. And so it was like very much inspired by seeing, like, stepping into new roles. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense with what you know about the film. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Without giving too much away about my own life, I completely understand.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially our generation of women, of daughters, we come into a new role as we get older.
Yeah.
And that can be trying.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Who are your horror filmmaker inspirations?
Ooh, this is a fun one. I mean, Raw is my favorite horror film of all time. I'm going to butcher her name, but Julia Ducournau. I can't speak French.
That's okay.
It's like, and Jennifer Kent, of course. There's a lot of, hopefully I'm tipping my hat to the Babadook and not just doing it, but not quite as well.
No, I did think about the Babadook when I watched this, but no, it does not. duplicate that story or anything about it in any way. You did such an amazing job of like really creating your own thing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, she really like changed the game in terms of like trauma monsters and really just opened things up for women in a lot of ways. So I wanted to, and I just love her stuff. And I'm forgetting the name of the filmmaker, so forgive me, but Relic was also a big, inspiration behind this.
I totally see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The Beldham, as far as I know, comes from like 17th century folklore or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've really heard that term. Like, is it something you grew up knowing about, or like how did you come across the Beldham?
Yeah, so it's an archaic word. I didn't know it. I had sort of written the monster and I didn't know what to call the monster, so I started Googling word, like I knew she was like a witch or a witch adjacent, so I was like, what are, and I'm just, the witch has been done. I couldn't do that. Beldham it's an old English word, but it's also beldame. There's the French. There's a Keats poem, Le Beldame sans merci. The beautiful woman without mercy.
Right.
And it's a word that can mean a lot of things. It can mean grandmother, old woman, hag, beautiful woman, crone. And I liked that there was this, I'm just kind of a nerd, I just like that there was this like definition, like rich definition history to the word, because the film is constantly, my goal with the film was to constantly sort of shift, each of the women's roles are shifting.
Yes.
I've been really into Agatha all along lately, and they talk a lot about a maiden mother crone. And we sort of have maiden mother crone in this, but they're all different things at different times throughout the film, so that's kind of where she came from.
I definitely see that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Coraline, Neil Gaiman's Coraline.
Right, yes.
The other mother is a Beldam.
That's correct.
They
spell
that's
it
right. Without an H, but that's the one that's most, I think, like readily in people's like frame of reference. But it used to be a common word, like witch or crone. Or
sure, yeah. I had to look it up before I watched it, and I was like, oh, it's about witches. All right, cool. I'm in. Without giving too much away, we do see a Beldam in this film. I was happily surprised, as far as I can tell, that it's not CGI. Is that correct?
Yeah, no.
And can you speak to that as well?
Yeah, we have very few visual effects, just because and we also just we wanted the texture to be very real. This artist out of Los Angeles, Joe Castro, built our Beldam mask and our Beldam hands, and what I think is really cool is that this amazing actress Hannah Reese played the Beldam while pregnant. And so there was a lot lot of like cool. It was a very like feminine set, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The bird is a real bird. The baby is a real baby.
I love that. Because I just feel like cinema lately has just been oversaturated with CGI, and it's so refreshing to see practical effects. So that was just really cool to notice. I love that you incorporated that, and it wasn't just, not that there's anything wrong with CGI. I just feel like we see a lot of it, you know? And I like to call back to earlier horror movies where we don't use that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna dive right into this one. Your film made me cry.
Yay.
Yeah. It's a yay for sure. I'm not gonna cry right now.
It's okay if you do. I've cried a lot lately.
What feeling or message do you hope the audience walks away with?
You know, I think the big thing we've been saying is I hope people even want to call their mom. I wanted to, there's some really tough themes in here. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave the audience totally wrecked at the end so that they couldn't pick themselves back up. I wanted to give some sort of hope, but not too much, because there's the reality of what we learn, and the reality of that is really hard, and it's really real. I wanted people who have been through those experiences to feel seen and validated. And I especially wanted to, it's funny, it's like I kind of made a horror movie for like middle-aged women, which is not the typical demo.
Yeah, right.
But it's, not that there aren't men who take over caretaking roles, there are, but just like culturally, it tends to be the women that do the work. Yeah. And, with the Sadie character, with Patricia's character, I was really nervous about going as hard with her because I wanted to make sure that at the end we still sympathize with her. 100%. So finding that balance, like that you go, oh, this experience kind of turned her into a monster too, but we understand why. It's like this kind of life stage hardship. Yeah. It's just really hard for everybody. Yeah. 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 I loved all the bird imagery. I really took notice of that because I have an affinity for crows. Yeah. They're cool. Can you speak to that? Yeah. I mean, I really wanted, like a familiar, like I wanted to like tie, and it's common witches, birds. Right. I also like that people think that crows are like gross and scary, but they're, they're amazing.
They're incredible.
They're brilliant.
So intelligent.
And, I also kind of wanted to play with like the haggification of old women and kind of spin that a little bit at the end. Yeah. And so I thought it was like fun thematically, and then tying it sort of in the character's brain to the little baby toy is like, that's why these birds are haunting her. It's like connected to her child. So working with the bird on set was wild. The bird's name was Goose, which we found hysterical. Goose was a teenager. He loved Katie, which was really important. Yeah, because very few people could be in the room when the animal wranglers were with the Goose. Right. Goose. And they bonded, and he always flew back to her and was just like hanging out with her, and thankfully she was like, this is cool, and not, why are you doing this to me?
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Oh my God, yeah. Again, without giving too much away, I just, I see so much of the commentary of this situation in birds. Because we as women in these types of situations can feel caged. Yes. I appreciate it.
I'm glad you felt that. A lot of how we design the cinematography, Kasusha Genenfeld, our brilliant cinematographer, she'll be here later tonight. She's in here right now.
Oh, good.
We really wanted to box her in and to make her feel watched and claustrophobic and caged. Yeah. So I'm glad that you felt that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I felt. Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you want to leave us with?
Just when it comes out, come see it and show it to your mom and say, Mom, it's a spooky drama, and stick with it to the end. Yeah. And you can. It's not so scary you can't watch it. Like,
right. Yeah.
You got to trick your mom into watching the movie with you.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it from me. Bye, babe. Well, that's it from me and Angela. Hope you enjoyed this week's FilmQuest Filmmaker Friday. Tune in every Friday for a new filmmaker interview. Please don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe. You can follow Angela at the social media handles below. Bye, babe.